A very good morning, dear students. Today we are going to have recap of the two chapters which will be your part of PT exam. That is chapter 1, India, size and location, and number 2, physical features of India. So let us start with chapter 1. So in chapter 1 we have learned about the location of India, then size of the country, then the neighbors of the country, and also the position of India in the world. So that was what we have discussed in our first chapter. So according to location of India, India lies entirely in the northern hemisphere, and then its latitudinal and longitudinal extension are like latitude, it is 8 degree 4 minute north to 37 degree 6 minute north, and longitudinal extension of India, it is 68 degree 7 minute east to 97 degree 25 minute east. So that is its latitudinal and longitudinal extension, considering the latitude and longitude and degrees of the mainland especially. Then we also have learned about that the Tropic of Cancer that passes through middle of India, which divides India into two equal halves. That's why the part that lies south of the Tropic of Cancer falls in tropical zone, and the north of the Tropic of Cancer, the region which lies, is known as the subtropical zone. Because latitudinal lines, basically it has a role to play in to know about the climate of a particular place. Beside the location, we also come to know about climate of a region, because on over the equatorial region and tropical region, the sun rays fall directly. Rather, once the distance from the equator increases towards the pole, the sun rays fall slantingly over the region, and that's why the tropical region have a hot and humid type of climate, weather, especially hot type of climate. And then if we move upward, then the temperature decreases accordingly. So that is what we have learned about the latitudinal and longitudinal extension. Basically, longitudinal extension, it is one of the important matter for to know about the time of a region, because per each longitude there is an increase of 4 minutes, and from the prime meridian, which runs in the Greenwich of London, from towards the east, that is eastern hemisphere, towards the west, that is western hemisphere, and India lies in the eastern hemisphere. So India, that's why India's longitudinal extension is 68 degree 7 minute east to 97 degree 25 minute east. It is east to east, and there is a distance there is a time difference from the Greenwich to India is 5.5 hours. So anyway, these longitudinal lines are important because to know about the time. Now, in case of India, if we see latitudinal and longitudinal, that difference is 30 degree both. So if we consider the time factor for India, there are 30 lines passing through India, that is longitudinal lines approximately. So there is a 4 minutes per each longitude. So 30 multiplied by 4, it become 120, and if we divide it by 60 to get in hours, then we get 2 hours. That's why from Arunachal to Gujarat there is a difference of 2 hours. Sun rises early in the Arunachal 2 hours than that of Gujarat, because it lies towards the east of Gujarat, or towards the very east of the prime meridian. So there is a 2 hours gap because of that. But being a country like India, which is a vast country where 30 degree or 30 longitudinal lines are different, or it is far from each other, from one west to east, that's why if we follow the local time, then it will be a very difficult situation. There will be a chaotic situation or confusion about the time if we follow the local time of each longitudinal line. So as a country, one longitudinal line is being selected to have consider it as the standard meridian, and that's the value is 82.5 degree, which passes through the middle of the country, and it passes through Mirzapur of Uttar Pradesh. And time on that standard meridian is considered as the Indian Standard Time, and distance from the prime meridian, that is from London to that meridian, is 5.5 hours. The time difference is 5.5 hours, okay, because it is far from 0 to 82.5 degree. So if we multiply by 82 by 4 and then again half into by 4, then we will get the value of 5.5 hours. You can calculate it also. So that is about the latitude and longitudinal extension. Then we also got about the length of the coastline of our country. So length of the coastline is, if you only include the mainland coastline, then it is 6,100 kilometer, but if we include the islands also, then it is 7,500, 17.5, I guess. Let me confirm the value. Yeah, 7,516.5. So that is the value. Now again, we have also seen about the position of India in the world. So India lies in the as the central part of the Asia. It is southward extension of Asia, and it lies towards the east lies the East Asia, towards the west lies the West Asia. And being a strategic location, India can have trade relation with the Europe, Africa, West Asia, and towards the east it is East Asia, and also with Australia through the sea route. And India has a long coastline in Indian Ocean. No other country has such coastline in the Indian Ocean. That's why the ocean is named after India, that is Indian Ocean, as because it has a long coastline in the Indian Ocean. Then we also have seen that being a peninsular location, India is being benefited by many factors, like it can have trade relation with Europe and other countries also through the sea route. Then it has a moderating influence of in the coastal region, moderating influence of the climate. Then it also helps the fisherman to have fishing activity to be conducted. Then tidal and wind energy can be generated. That is another thing. And then these ports are helpful for trade and commerce. That is also another point for the India's peninsular location and its benefit. Then we have learned about the India and its neighbor. We already know towards the north we have Nepal, Bhutan, China, and then we have towards the northwest Afghanistan and Pakistan. Then in the south we have two island countries. Towards the east we have Myanmar and Bangladesh, and towards the south we have two island countries, that is Sri Lanka and Maldives. And Sri Lanka and India is being separated by a water body called Pearl Strait, and also the Gulf of Mannar. So you can be asked, what is the strait that separates India and Sri Lanka? That is Pearl Strait. So that is all about chapter 1. Then we have also discussed about chapter 2, which is physical features of India. In this chapter, first we have learned that all the landforms are result of some processes that have been taking place from geological history or geological past, and there are a lot of theories that have been put forwarded by many of the scholars. So one of the important theory was continental drift. According to what it was given by Wegener, according to him, all the continents of today were in a single landmass, and that get first initially that single landmass was known as Pangaea, and then Pangaea broke into two divisions. Northern division is known as Laurasia, and the southern division is known as the Gondwana land. And India was a part of Gondwana land, because the Gondwana land included South America, Africa, India, Australia, as well as Africa also, I told you already. And towards the Laurasia was a part which includes Europe and Asia. That's why it is called and also North America. So North America and Eurasia, major part of Eurasia, because India is also part of Asia, but it is a part of the Gondwana land, and also some other countries of Asia are also part of Gondwana land, like Indonesia and all Jakarta, Indonesia, then those Singapore, and those are also part of the Gondwana land. So that is one theory. And another theory was given by three geographers, or we can say scholars, Mackenzie, Parker and Morgan. They have given about the plate tectonic. So according to plate tectonic, the continents of today, they are floating in the lithospheric plate, which are floating in the mantle. So continents really it do not move, actually the plates move, and that's why India, which was a part of southern hemisphere, due to its plate movement, slowly it moved towards the northern hemisphere, and now India is entirely in the northern hemisphere. But at the very beginning of the earth formation, India was a part of the southern hemisphere, but due to plate tectonic, it moved towards the north. Okay. Then it is also discussed about that in place of Himalaya there was a sea, and due to the collision of two plates, that is Eurasian plate and Indian plate, there was a convergent boundary formed, and in place of Tethys Sea there is formation of the Himalayas that took place. Okay. Then we have discussed the major physical features of India, which include the Himalayas, the northern plain, peninsula plateau, and then the islands, then the Indian desert, and these are the five. Okay. So number one is the Himalayan region. So Himalayan region, which it is lies at the very north of the country, and it is extending from Jammu and Kashmir even towards the northeast. Okay. And it has three parallel ranges: Himadri, Himachal, and Shivalik. Then we have also some other division of Himalayas starting from west to east, including the river valley demarcation. So it includes Punjab Himalaya, then Kumaon Himalaya, Nepal Himalaya, and Assam Himalaya. Then we have also discussed the characteristics of this, and then the northern plain. The northern plain of India is formed. It is formed by, or it is the interplay of the three main river system: Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. On that basis, it is three broader division it has. That is Punjab plain formed by Indus and its tributaries, Ganga plain formed by Ganga and its tributaries, and then Assam, or you can say Brahmaputra plain, formed by the Brahmaputra along with its tributaries. And there are other divisions of northern plain, that is on the basis of variation on its relief. So from north to south. So towards the very north is the Bhabur zone, which forms in the foothill of, or we can say break of the slope with coarser material deposition, followed by, or towards the south of Bhabur we have the Terai, and then Terai is a marshy kind of land due to re-emergence of the rivers, then followed by Bhangar and Khadar. Bhangar is the older alluvium and Khadar is the newer alluvium. Then we have discussed the Peninsula Plateau, which is the oldest landmass, which is formed due to breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land, and it is divided into two divisions. One is the Central Highland, another one is the Deccan Plateau. So Central Highland, it includes most of the part of Malwa Plateau, then it also includes Mahadev Hills, then Bundelkhand and Baghelkhand, and also the Chota Nagpur Plateau. And Deccan Plateau, it lies south of the Narmada, while the Central Highland lies north of the Narmada river. Then we have also seen the difference between Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat, because it's bordering the the Deccan Plateau. So Western Ghats are continuous hills, then Eastern Ghats are discontinuous hills. Then Western Ghats can be crossed through passes only, whether the Eastern Ghats can be crossed, it is dissected by many of the rivers. Then Western Ghats are taller than that of the Eastern Ghats. We have learned about that. And after that we have learned about the Indian desert, which includes the Great Indian Thar Desert. So it is arid type of climate is being found. Vegetation is low, rainfall is low in that region, and it lies towards the west of the Aravalli Hills, towards the northwest region of the Rajasthan, the Jaisalmer area, the Indian desert is being found. Then we have the coastal plains. So coastal plains of India is divided into two major divisions: Eastern coastal plain, Western coastal plain. Western coastal plains are less narrow than that of the Eastern coastal plain. Eastern coastal plains are quite wider. Okay, and Western coastal plains that lie between Western Ghat and Bay of Bengal, and Arabian Sea. And Eastern coastal plain lies between Eastern Ghat and Bay of Bengal. Now Western coastal plains have four divisions. Towards the very north, Gujarat plain, then we have the Konkan plain, then we have the Kannar plain, then we have the Malabar plain, or we can say Gujarat coast, which is in Gujarat only, then Konkan coast include Mumbai and Goa, then Kannar coast, which lies in Karnataka, and Malabar coast lies in Kerala. Then towards Eastern coastal plain has two major divisions, which includes towards the north the Northern Sirkar, and southern division is the Coromandel coast. Okay, then we have the last one, the islands. The islands of the country is again divided into two groups. One is Lakshadweep group, another one is Andaman and Nicobar group. So Lakshadweep group of island lies in Arabian Sea, and it is of coral, formed by coral deposits, and there are 36 islands approximately in the Lakshadweep group. Okay, and then if we consider the Lakshadweep, it has two divisions, Amini and Cannanore, and this Amini and Cannanore is being separated by, towards the north Amini, towards the south Cannanore, and Amini and Cannanore is being separated by 11-degree channel. Then we have the Andaman and Nicobar Island, which is in the Bay of Bengal, and it has 572 islands approximately, and then it is of volcanic origin. And Andaman in the north and Nicobar in the south, it is separated by 10-degree water body or 10-degree water channel. Okay, so this is all about the two chapters. I have mentioned you the main points, but you have to read each and everything which are shared in form of PPT as well as in the written notes. Please read it nicely, and if you have any queries, you can call me during summer vacation also. Thank you.